Hey sports fans, this football season, MDOT wants to ensure you get to your game day destination safely. So before you hit the road to watch your favorite team, be sure to download the MDOT Traffic app. The MDOT Traffic app is free for both Apple and Android devices. And remember to drive smart on the way to the game. That means buckling up, obeying the speed limit, and avoiding distracted driving, especially when traveling in work zones. For more information, follow at Mississippi DOT on Facebook and Twitter.
Ball got behind us several times. Not a very good defensive performance, obviously. I was proud of KJ Jefferson. The offense, they kept answering the call. Basically, the difference in the games, we put the ball on the ground once and missed a field goal, and they didn't. And, of course, obviously, we didn't convert on a 2-point. But I'm proud of our kids. I like the grit and the fight that they had offensively coming back to score there at the end of the game. And I had told them on that last drive, if we score with little to no time left on the clock, that we're going to go for 2 and make it. I love the play call. We had three options there and on the play, and we just didn't convert it. So with that, I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Tom gets going.
Sam, you covered a lot of it right there, but just why do you think Ole Miss had such a big offensive day?
I really don't know. A bunch of it was early time we didn't tackle. We any open field tackle, we couldn't get a guy on the ground, and that includes Corral. We that was by far our poorest day tackling. And then when we had some busts in the secondary and guys were wide open, and then we couldn't fill the gap from the safety area on a simple little stretch play. And so I'm not positive why. I thought we had a really good, physical week of practice. We went good on good a lot. But the bottom line is we had too many mistakes defensively, and we couldn't tackle.
Could you speak to KJ's play overall, and then the touchdown pass with 1 second left? How clutch that was for him and your offense?
Yeah, I thought he overthrew it, to be honest with you, when it was in the air, and then went up and caught it. And that was a great drive, to go down. We had the 6 seconds on the clock, and then ended up with 1, but it was really a well executed 2-minute drive by the offense. And I wish the results were different, but I think I'd do it probably 100% of the time in the situation that we were in. Ole Miss was just scoring. We were too, but they were scoring easily, and we had to work for a little bit of ours, but theirs were coming whenever, in bunches and a bunch of yards. So I thought that's what I wanted to do, and we just didn't convert it. But I was very proud of KJ. He's a competitive son of a gun, ran the ball well and threw it.
Trey Biddy.
Yeah, hey, Coach. I was curious about the last play, the 2-point call. What were you trying to get going there? And obviously it went to Burks.
Originally, you have a pitch, so you have a pitch, and then you have a route, and then you have option of the quarterback to keep the ball, and I liked the play. I liked it all week. Our offense was ready for it, and basically, we felt like the pitch was there. I don't know if it was or not. I had to go back and look at the tape where we thought we could score just pitching the ball out there. And the end, our read did not go out. So he came straight up the field and got in our face a little bit, probably. I don't know. I had to look at it and see if we should have pitched the ball or not on that. But it was just a 3-option loaded front offensively, and weren't able to execute it.
And what did you say to the team after the game? So much before that last play, but What do you say when
Well,
it comes down to something like that?
anytime you have one way or the other, you're always concerned about team morale, when one side does so well and the other doesn't. But we made mistakes on offense too. We put the ball on the ground, we missed a field goal on on special teams. And there's a lot of reasons why you win or lose games. But I just told them, man, we got to stay together. I mean, we got Auburn coming into town. We haven't lost a game at home. That would be a really nice goal for us. We still are have a lot to play for this year, and I just said we have to stay together. Well, obviously, we've got, and I pointed out that we didn't tackle well and had some blown coverages and things of that nature, and just pointed out that we don't want to point fingers. We want to stay a team, and I'm sure we will. And obviously, we have a good Auburn team next week, so I told them we just got to get back home and work hard and get better.
Let me know if you've got questions in the chat. Hutch.
Coach, I think there were only 36 seconds left there at the end of the half. You had all your timeouts. What was the mindset for that drive? And it looked like you considered going for the field goal before the Hail Mary. Could you walk us through that decision?
Well, it's a mindset that goes through any 2 minutes with not much time. You start with where are you? Which I believe was on the 25. And then, you go, okay, well, we're seven down, and let's run the ball and see if we can, make some yards rushing the football. And if we can, then, we'll go into 2-minute mode. The kick, there was a little bit of wind in our face, and I was going to have him kick that, which would have been a 57, 58 yarder. But when they put a guy back there to return it, there was a little bit more wind than what I wanted. I think he's probably more comfortable around 52, 53, I think today was, but the wind kicked up, so it might have been closer to 50 that direction. But if they wouldn't have put a guy back there, I would have went ahead and kicked it. But since they did, I was nervous that we wouldn't, have if we missed it, that they'd have an opportunity to return it with not a whole lot of small skill, skill on the field. So that's what I decided to do, call timeout and throw the Hail Mary, which, had an opportunity to score as well.
And Rocket, he'd shown some flashes leading up to this game. He had 139. What did you think of his performance today?
They ran tough. They stood him up. They stripped the ball from him there on our sideline, which, he hasn't done a whole lot. He's been, he's protected the ball well. And other than that, I thought he was really tough. He's getting better. He's a guy everybody in the room can count on. And he averaged 9 yards, a little over 9 yards a carry, and just a tough young kid that's going to be a really, really good player for us and put it out on the line. And just because you lose a game doesn't mean that there's not some players that, like you're mentioning, that didn't have a heck of a game and didn't, the effort was outstanding. Just because you lose a game doesn't mean that you didn't play hard. Sometimes you make mistakes because you can't tackle and you can't cover. That's basically what happened today.
Trey Schapp.
Coach, you guys stopped them on that fourth, I believe it was 1, maybe 2 there in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Then you guys went down the field and had to settle for the field goal there. What happened on that drive?
Well, they stopped us on 3rd down and we kicked a field goal. I don't know every play of the game. There was 93 plays. All I know is that I think we tried to throw it maybe early. I remember talking to the guys about, hey, they can't stop us running the football. And I believe we threw it on 1st down, and we may have thrown it 2 out of the 3 and ended up short. And I know it was like 3rd and 4 or 5 or something 4th and 4 or 5. And it was just too far to try to go for it. And I knew we'd tie the game up. I was, obviously like you are and everybody else, disappointed that we didn't convert right there and score a touchdown. But at least we tied it up, and we'd have had a lot more momentum, obviously, if we'd have scored. But I believe we threw it on that first play, and we were running the ball kind of at will.
Alyssa.
Coach, this is the most we've seen of Trey Knox this year. Just his contribution in the game and getting him more involved in the game plan. What'd you like today?
Well, I think, with Trey, our feeling was that he was going to go in an alternate series. He was going to be in the second series, and that's what happened. He's alternating. He got bummed up a little bit with the ankle, but other than that, he's earned the right to play, and I think he'll help us, there. And I think he helped us today, and we've got to gain a little bit more weight with him, and he'll be he's a very willing blocker, very knowledgeable, really, really smart guy. And so I think he'll help us there. I think he'll be one of the tight ends for our future as well.
Yeah, Sam, I think you said Bob, but Matt Corral, you didn't need 7 turnovers today, but 1 or 2 would have helped. What'd you think of his game and how he ran the ball, took care of the ball?
Thought he played great. He no turnovers. I mean, when they got a little behind us, his throws were on the money, and he's a competitor. And, we couldn't get him on the ground. And anytime that we had opportunities one-on-one to tackle him, we couldn't. And so, we knew we'd probably get a really good effort out of him, A, because we've seen that on film, and then B, because of, the situation last year when he threw, a lot of picks. But he's a competitor. He's a really, really good football player. And I want to say this too. Ole Miss got a good football team. They were ranked 17th for a reason. And I want to congratulate them. I didn't say anything about that. I just started talking about what we did wrong. But they got a good football team, and a lot of it hinges on him, on Corral, and so I want to give them credit because they scored, 52 points on us, and so they did a nice job. But he's a great leader. You can see him, you can feel his presence on the field. He's a very, very big time competitor.
And then with some of the big pass plays they hit, pump fakes, were you guys just biting on those pump fakes or eyes in the wrong spot, or what do you think maybe happened?
We were busting. On the wheel, we had a safety error, corner error they got by us 2 or 3 more times, just running by us. And then, like I say, and we've seen it on tape too, once they get behind you, guys are going to put it on the money, and that's what happened. And I think when they started really gashing us in the run game, we were trying to, early in the half, the first half, I felt like they blocked so well on the perimeter, and we were trying to get our corners and our safeties involved in the run game, and they must have seen it and started running running by us, which shouldn't happen, but it did.
Thanks.
Nate.
Yeah, Sam, just as far as both quarterbacks' ability to run, how much did that open things up for the running backs on both teams?
I thought a lot, obviously, on both sides. The running backs had big games. They had a couple over 100 yards, and we had two at 85, and then Rocket had 140 or 139. And so I think it always does, to be honest with you, Nate, when you have to, hold and hang, it freezes you on the backside a lot of times for quarterback runs, that when you hand it off, you can get some big ones because the Willie linebacker can't close the gap. And that's what happened to us a few times a day, and then it happened to them as well. But I think that's a big key, Nate.
Thank you.
Chris Hutchison.
Hey, Coach, I'm over in Jonesboro. Wanted to ask you about Jashad Stewart getting more snaps on defense this year. Where's he improved the most?
Who's that, Chris?
Stewart.
Jashad Stewart. He's always, where has he improved the most? I would say his handling his hands in the running game. You know, he's always been a hard playing kid that, you know, can rush the passer. Motor goes 90 miles an hour, but I think he's improved his hands in the running game. He's still got to gain some weight to not get knocked around in there. But again, I think he's understanding leverage better this year. He's very powerful off the football, and he has a relentless motor.
Tom.
Hey, Sam, Warren Thompson had a pretty big game too. I'm wondering maybe with Knox, if this could mean something for your pass catchers besides, you know, Burks and Morris.
I hope so. You know, we don't go into the game saying, I mean, we have packages for different guys, but we don't, you know, we don't go in the game saying we're only, you know, going to throw it to Burks, you know, and so Burks gets open better whenever we have more guys on the field that can get open and make plays. And I thought with Warren being able to do that today, now that's certainly going to help our throwing game. And you know, they made some, Burks did too, so did Warren, but they made some hard catches, you know, today and one-on-one contested balls, and I thought they did a nice job.
And I think this is the third game in the last 4 that you don't have a takeaway. Is that something that might start being a cause of concern?
Well, sure, it is a concern. I mean, it's been a concern since, you know, the first game. We didn't have a bunch of them, you know, and we work on it. You know, we work on trying to strip it and get it out of there and rally to the ball, and we pull on it, tug on it, try to hit it, knock it out. They just did a nice job of not throwing picks and hanging on to it. But yeah, certainly it's a concern.
Last one, Hutch.
Yeah, Sam, you mentioned the missed tackles earlier. You tackled so well against Texas and early in the season. Last couple of weeks, it seems like there's been more missed tackles. Do you know why that is? Can you put your finger on anything?
I think we're beat up a little bit more than what, you know, I think with bumps and bruises and broken hands and different things of that nature, that's certainly going to play a part of it, you know. But I answer your question, we can tackle better, and we tackle, you know, in Indy, we don't tackle live bodies, but we form tackle, we tackle on sleds, and we do that every Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm not positive. We got to figure it out, you know, but it's really, it's a lot of people. It's not just 1 or 2 guys, you know, we're banging off of legs, you know, not wrapping up very well and getting guys on the ground. So we'll adjust it after we look at film and see what the heck going on and why we're not tackling well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
We'll get Hayden Henry and KJ in here next. All right, we got KJ up first. Hutch, you want to get us going?
Yeah, KJ, could you take us through that last drive? You got the touchdown there as time expired, and then what did you see on the 2-point conversion play?
They came out in a different package than we was expecting. They played coverage to the play that we was thinking they was going to play man to, so they just played great coverage on the back end. I just tried to get one of my guys to play, just throw it up, let them make a play.
And what was the emotions like today, playing in front of your, you know, friends and family and everything? And how did you think you did?
Emotion, I was fully pumped, excited. I had some family members that haven't seen me play since I played college ball, so getting them to come out and support me. So I was pumped up about the coming back home and playing in front of them. And my plan, I mean, I made plays, but it all started with my teammates. I mean, giving me lanes, run with the big guys up front, giving me lanes to run through, throwing the ball up to the guys on the outside, letting them make a play. So it all started with my teammates based on my performance.
All right, let me know if you've got questions. Tom.
KJ, you had some wideouts other than Traylon. You kind of blow up today. Warren Thompson, Trey Knox had a good game. Just what could that maybe do for your confidence in them and the receiver core that you're getting more production?
Just boosting everybody. Just kind of just keep going up each game. Starts in practice. Just focus on the little small details and stuff. We know Traylon Burks is a problem, and the whole SEC know, the whole country know. So I mean, getting other guys the ball and stuff like that takes some stress out Traylon, so he can match up problems, and just getting those guys the ball and just letting them play ball.
Coach said that there was a potential pitch on the 2-point conversion. Who would that have been? Was it Dominic Johnson in? And did you see that and maybe didn't like it?
No, it was just kind of muddy up, and they just muddied it whole little play for the pitch. So I just brought it outside and tried to make a play.
KJ, I know it's a disappointing loss, but you guys gained almost 700 yards, I think it was. Just what'd you think of the offensive performance overall, just by everybody?
Well, we did some really good things on offense. As far as running the ball, that was our main thing. Going into the game was establish the run game. So I feel like we did a pretty good job running the ball and passing the ball as well. It was great protection. So as an offensive unit, I think we did well.
And I don't know if you got to watch much of Matt Corral. I mean, you had a great game. He had a great game. It's kind of like you guys were a couple of gunslingers out there. But if you had any thoughts on his game, just wonder what those might be.
He's just a good player. Good player make good plays. I mean, that's what he did.
Okay, thanks.
Nate.
Yeah, KJ, just as far as what opened things up in the running game for y'all today, did you feel?
Just the 3-down defense that they was running, and we felt like they just had a light box the whole game. So we wanted to establish the run game, try to get the big guys up, climb to the second level, and block the linebackers and create lanes and stuff for me and the running back. So that was just the main thing. They just had a light box, and we just wanted to attack it.
Thank you.
Hutch, you have something else?
I'm good.
All right, KJ, thanks for oh, sorry, Bob, one more.
Yeah, KJ, Auburn's coming in next week. It doesn't get any easier, although at least you guys get to come home and play. How do you think what was Coach Pittman's message? How do you think that you guys will bounce back and got to play a third-ranked team in a row now?
The main thing is, nobody wants to lose. Nobody like losing. So the main thing is we just got to go back to work starting tomorrow. Go back to work, correct the mistakes from this game, and just each and every one to just hold each other accountable and knowing that we know what it takes to win. And we don't want this taste in our mouth anymore.
In particular, Trey Knox. I don't think Trey caught a pass all year, and he's getting adjusted to tight end. But he caught a touchdown, caught a couple passes there at the end of the half. What do you think of Trey and maybe what he can do for you guys moving forward at tight end?
He stepped up big time. He made the most of his opportunity when it came, and big time plays he made, catching the ball on in the flats and stuff, knowing the down and distance, getting the first down, getting out of bounds, knowing the situation. So Trey has always been a great player, and would add him to the tight end to just create more matchup problems.
Thanks.
All right, KJ, that'll do it. Thanks, KJ. We've got Hayden Henry. Hutch.
Hayden, coach was telling us that y'all didn't tackle very well today, and I think you've a couple of games in a row now too. What do you think is contributing to all the missed tackles?
It's hard to point at one particular thing. We're just not wrapping up. We're letting too many 2- and 3-yard runs turn into 6-yard runs. And, I can't necessarily put my finger directly on what the problem is, but I would assume we're not wrapping up and we're not getting guys on the ground. And when we make tackles and make contact with ball carriers, we're not pushing people back. People are dragging us for 2 or 3 yards and just putting us in bad position behind the chains, things like that.
And what was Ole Miss doing anything in particular today that y'all maybe didn't expect them to do? Or what do you think led to them piling up, 52 points and 600 yards?
They did do a couple things differently. They attacked us in the run game with some things that we hadn't seen before in our 3-down front, and they had some success with it. And we made some corrections, and we're able to defend it better, but we were still getting gashed a little bit. And so we're gonna have to figure out make some corrections and get it fixed.
Tom.
Yeah, Hayden, how do you feel like you guys might be, bounce back and face Auburn next week?
I'm sorry, Tom. Can you say that one more time for me?
Just how do you feel about you guys being able to bounce back and face Auburn next week after one like this?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, we have a very resilient, tough team. There's no one on our team that wanted the outcome today. So this is only going to fuel us going into next week. I'm excited that we get to go back home and play in our stadium against another great opponent.
Were you here for the game in 2015?
I was not.
Clay.
Yeah, you may have been referring to this, Hayden. Coach Pittman talked about the stretch play, the way they were turning it up, and just what was happening on those plays, because they hit you off, 4 or 5 times on that one for big plays.
Yeah, well, they were hitting us in a weak spot of our defense. They were creating an extra gap on the edge, and we didn't have someone there to fill that gap. And so when you create another gap, there needs to be someone there to fill it. And at times they were cutting us off on the backside, and we couldn't get an extra hat to the ball. So it was creating some problems for us. We made some corrections and, tried to get it fixed, but it was great play design. Props to them for that.
Thanks.
Nate.
Yeah, what was the difference in Corral's ability to run on you all this year that obviously you didn't have last year, or you all didn't allow?
Well, I mean, he's always been a great runner. He's ran on everybody this year. I think he does a great job of feeling the pocket presence, and when people give him a shot to scramble, he's gonna go do it. And it's hard, and with him, being such a fast guy, it can create some problems for you. We just gotta be able to rally to the ball and get the quarterback down.
Did it affect on how you all tackle the running backs, having to kind of be concerned with him at the same time?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
As far as just because did it help their running backs? You had to be so concerned with Corral on the run that opened things up for them.
Yeah, I mean, they do a little bit of quarterback run, and they did some of it today. We'll face a lot of teams that do it, and they did it really well today. And but we have rules of our defense, and there's always a quarterback player and there's a running back player, and there's supposed to be someone there to be making the play. On certain plays where the play wasn't being made, we just have to make those corrections and get better for next week.
Thank you.
Hayden, you guys didn't need 6 picks from Corral today, but maybe one would have made the difference. But he really, I can't think of really any mistakes he made. What'd you think of his play today, and how that impacted the game for them?
Well, he's a really good player, and honestly, he's gotten a lot better even from last year. He's a lot smarter. He protects the ball. He doesn't give the ball to the other team, and he checks down to his running backs a lot more, and then creates plays with his legs when he needs to. He's a great player for them, and people are going to have problems with him the rest of the year.
And then both teams were making a ton of yards on offense, but Ole Miss was striking a little quicker. Did you guys get a little shell shocked at all with those big plays they were hitting you on? You guys given up a couple of big plays this year, but nothing like today. What do you think happened on that? Is that just, you got to credit Ole Miss?
Yeah, I mean, credit to them. I can't really answer that question without seeing the film and what the play design really was there. But I mean, they beat us deep, and we can't give up those long deep balls, and they executed a lot better than we did today. That's the bottom line.
I don't know if you got to watch KJ much. You probably were there trying to get rested up and maybe talking to the coaches. But if you have any thoughts on KJ's game, how he kept you guys answering, just wonder what those might be.
Just really proud of him. I mean, he's a really tough player. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played, and I love the way that he led our offense today. I thought he did an outstanding job, and I mean, playing like that today at the helm, I mean, that's unbelievable. 600 plus yards of offense. Guy played amazing. He played a great game.
Thank you.
Tom, last question, please.
Yeah, Hayden, I think Buster Brown's pick against A&M is your only takeaway in the last 4 games. What level of concern do you have with that?
It's really important. We got to get back to taking the ball away. It's something that we were really good at last year, and this year we were good at it a little bit, and now we've been on quite a dry streak. We got to start creating some big plays and getting the ball back to our offense. Whether it's stripping the ball or picking the ball off. We got to get back to that and start taking the ball away from the offenses that we play. Yeah.
All right, I'll do it. Hayden, appreciate your time, man.
Thank you.